going to create some KML or KMZ files from preliminary plat or a final plat. What we're going to do here is we're going to create the file, and then we're going to have it set up so that we can use it inside of Google Earth, things of that nature. So things we need to think about is the drawing settings. So we need to look at what coordinate system we're using. If we're using a projection, we're good to go. If we're using a modified state plane coordinate system, we're going to have to scale that back down so that we are within the state plane coordinate system. And then we're going to use from the tool space, we're going to go to a tab that's called Toolbox, and there's some tools in there that we're going to use that allows us to export to that KML file format. So let's get started. So at this point we're inside the drawing. What we're going to do here is we're going to make some cleanup things happen. So we'll freeze what we don't want to use. Basically what we're looking at here is maybe lot lines, right-of-way, boundary, and maybe the lot number. So that's what we'll do. We'll finish cleaning this thing up, getting it ready to export out to that KML file format. So at this point I'm just working with the layers, freezing the things that I don't want to see, and basically getting it ready to do what we need to do for the KML file format. So at this point we got the drawing set up the way we want it, in a sense of being able to grab what we want to create the KML file. So before I get going on that, what I want to do is double check my drawing utilities. Let's take a look at the drawing settings, make sure of the projection or the state plane coordinate system, if it's modified, that sort of thing. So it looks like we're in a Douglas County projection, so I think I'm good with that, so I'm going to hit OK. So at this point we're ready to create the KML file. So what we need to do is go back up, make sure you're in your Civil 3D work space, and then what we'll do is go to the tools tool space, and we will open this up. And like I said, on the front end of this we're looking at the toolbox portion, so the toolbox tab. If you don't have that toolbox tab on, pick on this button right here. So let's do that. So if we don't have the toolbox tab, you look at it here, I don't see it. So what you can do here is you can activate that or add that to the tool space by simply picking on that icon. Well, what we want to do here is we want to go down to miscellaneous utilities, and then there's this export KML file, and it tells you what it's going to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go in and we're going to right click on that, and we're going to tell it to execute. Well, inside the execution area here, what we can do is we can give it a name. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to grab the objects. We can do all of them. We can select them. So I'm going to go ahead and select them. And then also I want to is I want to bring out the export text. If you have text that you want to bring out as well, make sure you tell it to export that text. So with that all set up, let's go ahead and pick on the little pick box here, and we'll window around the area that we want to export. We'll hit return. So the next thing is we'll go hit next. What we're looking at here is the drawing coordinate system transformation. So if we're working in a projection, we will be able to make the transformation from the Douglas County projection. It'll automatically convert that into state plane coordinate system. If you're using Google Earth or ArcMap, any geo-referenced type of software, it'll allow you to have that conversion happen automatically. So if we did not have the Douglas County projection and we are working inside of the state plane coordinate system with a modification, then we would have to take that modification, that scale, we'd have to take that off of the drawing, so we'd have to scale it back into state plane coordinates, so that and therefore we would be able to create the KML KML file, and then it will be able to be imported into Google Earth in the right location. So anyhow, we're going to hit next. And here, drape objects on the ground. That seems to be the best method for KML into Google Earth. So we'll hit next. And this is where we'll create the file. So where do we want to push this out to? So I'm going to put it out here. And you can see it's Kmz, KML. So we're going to go ahead and type in sales plat. So we got the location, we've got the file name, and then look at the save types. We can either save it as a KMZ file or a KML file. So from my understanding, they're basically the same file. We can get into more detail on that if we need to, but I'm going to go ahead and use the KML. And then you notice it changed that. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and save. And I will tell it to export. And basically what it's doing there is it's exporting the file, tells us it's done 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. So at this point, we can go into the File Explorer, locate that Kml Kmz file, and we can use that in geo-referenced software, so we can go in and bring it into Google Earth, that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to open up Google Earth and we'll bring that in. So at this point, I'm out here in File Explorer, and I can see that I've got my KML, and you can see there's some other KMZ files here as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and slide that off to the side here for a moment. This is the area that we're going to be working in here. So let's bring in that KML file into Google Earth. So again, since we were working in the Douglas County projection, whatever projection or coordinate system we're working on with Google, is going to transform that Douglas County projection into this coordinate system. So how can we do that? Well, first off, we want to do is import the file. So we'll go to File in Google Earth, go to the File pull-down menu, and we'll tell it to import. And now we've got the ability to choose the file format we want. I'm just going to say all, just so I don't have to mess around with searching for Kml Kmz. So here's our sales plat KML file. So what we're going to do is we're going to select that. We'll hit open. Mine likes to zoom out for some reason, so just kind of be aware of that. So now that I've got the file imported, as I zoom into this, you can see that it landed in the correct location. So you can see that's lining up with the river, Elkhorn River. You can see our text in here, things of that nature. I'm not sure how to control the text appearance inside of Google. I'm not a Google Earth user, I guess, for the most part, but all the data is there. So at this point, I want to go ahead and bring in the KMZ file. Same process, basically. I just created another file of the KMZ so we can see how that works as well. So File, Import, go out to the same location. Make sure you choose all. And I've got a sales plat KMZ, so we'll do the same thing. Zooms out for some reason. I'm going to go back into the area that I know I'm working in. I can see that it's sitting here. So as I zoom in, I can see my data. There's lots 67, 68, so on and so forth. So that basically that's about it. You can control some of the, if you don't want to see the street names and things like that, you can go down in to this file for that sales plat, and you can see the different information on that. If you expand that, you can see this is all the things that are making up this file. So you can see arcs and lines, you can see text, things of that nature. So as you scroll down through here, you start to see text. If you expand that, okay, there's Outlot A, so do you want to see that? You can turn that off if you want. And there's going to be, so every piece of text in there that says outlot A, it's going to be, so you can see it kind of leaving the drawing view as I toggle these off. So if you expand them out and go from there, I think you can organize this too from the you know, A to Z, you know, the sorts, so you don't have to filter through it. So there's all your arcs, your lines, your text, and text, polylines, all of that. So you can control a little bit of that here inside of your Google Map or Google Earth. So anyhow, that's about it. So again, with the Kml Kmz files, if you're working in a projection, the geo referencing, the transformation is going to take place automatically. So the only time we really need to worry about our coordinate system if we are working inside of a modified state plane coordinate system. So that would be a little bit different process. Basically, figure out the scale that you need. So go out to the J drive survey department, look at that project. It'll tell you you know, the scale that you need to use or what we've used. So we'll take that scale away from it. It scales it back down into state plane coordinate system. And then you'd run your export routine to create your KML or your KMZ. Now the differences between the KML and the KMZ is that the KMZ has been compressed. It's been zipped up. So that's basically the difference. Anyhow, that's all I've got. If you have some questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you.